Matt Delvecchio here. All right, let's get back to questions I get all the time. Matt, what should we be asking if we're considering a move into a senior living community? Because there's different categories and profiles. There's, your typical independent living, just like condo living, but having some nursing services and a ton of amenities. There's semi-autonomous. There's assisted living with care services and meals and care included. And then, of course, there's long-term care, our CHSLDs, and there are some, most of them are public, and there's a couple private long-term care options. So a lot of questions that need to be asked. I'm going to try to give my best on the top 5 that I usually get. Number 1, what type of care can be offered should I require more assistance as I age? Very, very important, and I like to mention this because we just can't look about today. We have to look about tomorrow. No use moving into independent living only residences if you are having some challenges and you may need some support down the road. So that's a very important point to ask. Number 2, what is included in the rent? You will be getting a quotation for the apartment size, might be a 1 or 2 bedroom, but ask the question, what's included? For example, many senior living communities, and I'm talking RPAs now, okay, not necessarily CHSLDs, but in RPAs, you typically get heating, electricity, obviously access to all the activities and access to amenities. Sometimes I twist that question around by asking, what is not included in the rent? That's a better way to find out, okay, so you don't have any surprises. So for example, some will include meals, some don't include meals. Maybe you could just buy coupons to go down to the dining room. Is things like housekeeping and laundry services included? What about indoor parking? And of course, any care services, if ever you get to a point where you need some assistance with dressing or accompaniment to the dining room, bathing, for example, and a big one is medication management. Are all these extras? And then, of course, most of them will have published price lists. You have the right to ask what these will cost, and they're readily available. There will usually be a cost for each of those services, so you can go back home and do a good financial analysis and budgeting to see, okay, is this affordable or not? Question number 4 that I have on my list is, are there any government subsidies to cover some of the costs? And the answer, and if we're talking private retirement communities, RPAs, as we know, résidences privées pour aînés, the answer is yes. If you are over 70 years old, the provincial government has something called the tax credit for home support services for seniors. Okay, so that will usually end up being somewhere around 10 to 15% of the monthly rent. There's an exact calculation that every senior living community will calculate on your behalf. And if your family income is less than $69,040, you will qualify for 100% of that tax credit. But not to worry if that family income or individual income is more than $69,000. There is a full scale and a schedule where that percentage will get reduced over time, over your income that you're bringing in. I think the max is around $180,000 a year, but if you're somewhere in between, you will be getting some form of tax credit from the government. Number 5 that I like to suggest is, can I come by for lunch with a family member? Almost all of them are offering a complimentary lunch, and I like to encourage that because it serves 2 purposes. One, first of all, you get to taste the food. That's always a big topic as we talk about what to look for here on Life Unrehearsed if you're looking for a senior living community. And check out, try the food out. It's always a big issue. But what it also does is it gets you into the dining room. You need to be comfortable in that environment. Is it the right culture? Do you see yourself fitting in? And with these complimentary lunches, that's a great way to not only test the food, but now you're seeing the type of environment. So I always like to recommend that. Slowly running out of time. There are many, many more questions. For example, regarding things like access to amenities, like is there a dépanneur and pharmacy, and are there different activities and classes? Are there costs to them? Many times there aren't. Is there things like theaters and swimming pools? A lot of people like aqua fitness or even yoga, chair yoga. It's called exercise classes. And are there shuttles to outings and to the grocery stores and shopping centers, for example? And we always talk about lease renewal procedures. Many, many more questions. So it can be a little overwhelming. Please know that there are services and agencies, just like mine at Lianas Senior Transition Support, and just not mine. There are others out there, but these are free services that can help guide you. And We're all part of the Association de Conseillers d'Hébergement du Québec, or Housing Counselors of Quebec, and we'll all do our best to help you out. And again, free service throughout Greater Montreal. All right, that's a wrap. We are already out of time. Thank you for tuning in to Life Unrehearsed. Join me next month. As you know, now I've mentioned it's going to be on the last Sunday of every month. Next one is February 23rd. And on that show, I'm going to be talking about the latest dementia resources with the Alzheimer's Society of Montreal. How to get a family doctor, big topic, as we all see, very long waiting list. We're going to try to help you out with that topic. We're going to talk about some senior living trends and the growing popularity of reverse mortgages to help you age at home. All right, well, thank you very much. And as a reminder, for all your inquiries or assistance with home care, downsizing, and the senior living industry, it'd be my pleasure to help. You can find out more if you look up Premier Home Care or Lianas Senior Transition Support.